everybody, I'm Joey Paul and I'm an indie author and welcome back to my channel. I write young adult fiction across a variety of genres, and if you think that might interest you, then think about subscribing below. So today we're going to be talking about disability. I've done a lot of videos about disability in writing and I will link the playlist up in the cards. But today I wanted to touch on writing while disabled and about bringing disability into your writing as either someone with a disability or as an able person. Once again, as I tend to do with these kind of videos, a disclaimer, I am not the only disabled author-tuber or the only disabled person on YouTube, so take what works for you and seek out other advice as well, as disabled people are not a monolith. So here we go. Number 1, bringing disability into writing. Whether you're an able writer or someone with a disability, you might come to a video like this looking to know how to go about crafting the perfect disabled character. And while it's great to have those kind of thoughts, let me be clear on one point. There is no such thing as perfect. You don't have to be disabled to write disabled characters, and if you are disabled, you don't have to stick to only your disability, which I will touch on in a moment. Representation matters so much, and I do feel like now in 2023, there are too many times when disability is left out of the talk about representation. Now it is getting better, more people are writing disabled characters and more disabled writers are getting published or being published, and that is so very important and cool, and I'm here for it. But if you're looking to bring disability into your writing, you need to remember some key points. Number 1, you will have to do a whole ton of research, just like you would for any other aspect that you're not familiar with or even that you are familiar with. Number 2, you will need to hire sensitivity readers, even if yourself have that disability. Again, not a monolith, your experiences are not universal, etc, etc. And number 3, you will be the one that has to make it work. What I mean by those is not to discourage you to write disability, but just like with anything involved with writing, to get it right. To make it believable, to make sure that you are not actively doing harm. You will need to be committed to doing the very best that you can. Now this is something that really does put a lot of people off, that it's so much work, but it doesn't have to be. When you're creating your characters and your world, you will have to do a lot of research and planning, whether that's before drafting or after. You will need to put in the work to get your story to the best place it can be. The same can be said for any facet of characters and world building, and also about writing disability. Don't let it put you off, just take your time with it. Number 2, keeping it believable. This is the point where a lot of people give up and decide it's easier not to include disability. They see it as restrictive on their creativity, and I gotta say, it just ain't true. I'm in the process of getting ready to release a dystopian novel where every single character has some kind of disability. I had to do a whole ton of research and go through all these steps to make sure that it's believable. It's dystopian, so there's going to be action scenes and fighting as we go through the quartet, and you better believe that the disabled people, yes, even those with mobility devices and in wheelchairs and the like, can fight, can battle, can be useful members of a team. The only thing restrictive about writing these kind of characters is how you, the writer, might view things like wheelchairs and such. I've been a wheelchair user longer than I wasn't in my life. I became disabled at the age of 19 and was in a wheelchair part-time by the time I was 20. I'm 41 now and have been a full-time wheelchair user for about 10 years. My point isn't to discourage you, but to show you that you can still achieve things and pull off these huge feats without negating the disability. While there may be limits, this is where you get creative with it. This is where your imagination comes into play. Like in Invisible, which is the first of that dystopian quartet, I have it set in the future. One of the main characters is in a wheelchair, she's able to steer with her torso. And you don't even have to stick to futuristic to get creative. You can have people who help, you can have part-time wheelchair users, you can have people in electric wheelchairs who only use said wheelchair as a weapon. It can be done. The limit is only when you stop thinking about what if and start focusing on the can't. Which I know sounds like some inspirational line, but I promise you it's not. Number 3, using your own disability or not. I have written characters with my own disability, but you don't have to stick to that. I know writers who do, writers who don't, both are completely valid. Going back to Invisible, there are some characters in there who do share some of my disabilities, but there are many who don't. With Cramping Chronicles, Jessie has 2 of my conditions. In Blackout, Lisa shares my lung condition. I could go on and on, but I won't. My point is that there is, again, no limit on what you can do. If you personally don't feel comfortable using another disability, or you just want to make sure that there are more stories with your personal disability, that's completely okay. But the same can be said for the opposite. If you never want to actually write about your own disability, that's okay, and people shouldn't and can't criticise you for that. It's what you as the writer want to do for your story and your characters. I will say that you should, as I've already said, still research and make sure you employ sensitivity readers, because your experience is not universal and it can add things to your story that maybe you hadn't thought of before. And number 4, avoiding the token disabled. As with all minorities, it's best to avoid having just a token disabled character, someone who only exists for you to point at and get yourself cookies for. I know saying it like that makes it sound like I'm bitter. I'm not. I just want to make sure that there's a level of believability to your story. Like with a lot of minorities, it's really rare for someone with a disability to not know anyone else who's disabled. It's also kind of rare for able people to not know someone who's disabled either, but that's not the point. There are so many ways you can include that, whether they are side characters and not part of the main plot, or whether they are a group who hangs out together. My point with this is to try not to isolate your disabled character, try not to have them just be there to score diversity points. If you want to write disability, do it in a way where the characters have depth, feeling, an arc, and a point to their existence in a said story, other than just being the disabled one. If you can remove the character from the plot and nothing changes, then you have a problem. So do your best to avoid this and give your disabled character that depth and realness to them, and make sure you use them in your story. So there we go, those are my 4 points when it comes to disability in writing. Like I said, this is something that I've talked about a lot on this channel, and it's something that I'm probably going to continue talking about. I don't do them often, but when I do them, I know that they're received well. Do you have any questions about writing in disability? If you do, let me know in the comments down below. So that's all I've got time for today. If you want to support my channel, you can comment, like, or subscribe. I post new videos on Thursdays. You can find me all over social media, and my books are available everywhere, and you can also sign up for my newsletter. And don't forget to pick up Cramming Chronicles: The Second Pound, which is the second in a young adult urban fantasy series. And also don't forget to grab a ticket for Author City in Birmingham in July, where I'll be signing books. All the links to which are listed below. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep writing. Bye!